Now, how long did you dance on the show?
I danced on the show for 8 years without missing one taping.
So you got perfect attendance for 8 years on the show.
8 years on the show.
Yes. So, what happened after you left Soul Train during those 8 years? What took place next?
All right. What happened was we had formed a group, and when I say we, the group comprised of Sharon Hill, Cleveland Moses, Kurt Washington, Jody Watley, Jeffrey Daniels, and myself. And we called ourselves the Outrageous Whack Dancers. The reason why we called us that is because there was a dance form that we would do, which is called waacking. And we took that and we went to different cities around the country. I think this was like in about 778. This is before Shalimar. Then what happened was we were getting very, very popular in Japan. So they wanted us to come to Japan. At that point, I think Jeffrey and Jody had started to they were in the Soul Train gang at that time, and then which turned into be Shalimar. And I took Sherry Green, Tammy, Cleveland, Kirk, and myself. We went to Japan. And then when we came to Japan, we started to do, even though we started to dance there, Sherry and I started to do a little bit of modeling. She did more modeling than I did. And then we came back, and then Sherry and I decided to go to New York to try our thing at modeling here. So we came here, and the modeling panned out well for her. It didn't pan out too well for me, but what did pan out is that I got in touch with 4 dancers, and we created another group called Breed Emotion.
Now, you did choreography work, and a lot of people know this. The dance step for the right stuff by New Kids on the Block is infamous. Now, when I interviewed Danny, he told me that, y'all came up with him with the to the guys with the step, and they was like, yo, that's Morris Day and the Time, Jungle Love. And you was probably like, nah, man, the white folks ain't seen this, and when they see it, they gonna go nuts. And 20 years later, they're doing this dance at weddings. So tell me, how did you come up with the step for them for the right stuff?
The right stuff. The right stuff was a compilation. Let me explain how I did that. I was here. I was working. I wasn't even thinking of. The only thing I was thinking of was Breed Emotion at the point. I get a phone call at my job. The person that's on the other line is Jody Watley. Jody Watley is asking me, please, I need you to do me a favor. I said, what's the favor? She wanted me to go and be in her video. I said, no problem. Boom, boom. I'm thinking that we're going to shoot it somewhere here in America. She says, no, we're going to Paris. So I go over there and I do her video called Still a Thrill. Come back. When I come back, this is like in 1987. Now, this is before they were using street choreographers. And when I mean by street, I mean urban, because all the choreographers that they used had technique. And since I did that, and people wanted to get that raw kind of street feel, they started to call me for everything. Now, at this same time, I got a phone call from CBS Records stating that there was a group that they had that they wanted me to look at. So I said, okay, and that the group was in Boston. I didn't know anything about Boston. I didn't know anything about this group. And I asked them what the name of it was, and they said New Kids on the Block. And they said that we were just getting ready. I think they were getting ready to come out with they already did one album, and this is their second album, and they were getting ready to come out with their second album, which the name of the first single on the album was going to be Please Don't Go Girl. So they said they wanted me to go up there and take a look at them. So I said, okay, fine, cool. I did. I went up to Boston, I looked at them, and I'm like, oh my God. I mean, you could see it in its raw form that what they had already did was it was unbelievable. So I went back to the record company and I said, they're wonderful, they're good, they're wonderful. I want to work with them if I can. So they got me in touch with their producer, and the producer is Maurice Starr. And they were saying that Maurice is kind of difficult, he's this and he's that. When I met the man, we clicked automatically. Automatically, it was a boom, like he was my brother, like I had now, we had wanted the same thing. So he let me work with New Kids. It was real simple what I did with New Kids, because a lot of the stuff that they had did, and even on the right stuff, they had did themselves. I just overseed it. I guess you would say, I just said, well, this is good, this is not good. We're going to leave this here. Can we just alter this a little bit? So I guess when you look at New Kids on the Block and you see the right stuff, it's more a collective part, but more so on them. Now, there are songs that I had to go and redo from beginning to end. Hanging Tough was one of them. Please Don't Go Girl was basically staged, and there was some more. I can't think of the names of them. But that's how that went. The Right Stuff was more of a collaboration.
I was saying that I saw on pop-up video that they said that a mooning gesture was choreographed for The Right Stuff, but was never used.
What gesture?
A mooning gesture. I don't know if this is true or not, but that's what I saw. But like
I don't remember that. But knowing New Kids on the Block, I wouldn't put it past it.
Like I said earlier, 20 years later, everybody's still doing oh, 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 oh. And it's just amazing to see how much impact that group has had 20 years later. And then there's rumors bubbling of them getting back together once again, and their fans are going ape nuts over that. And you know, it's just crazy just to see that impact. Now you're doing the choreography thing. Now, were you still watching Soul Train during the 80s and kind of keeping in touch with like the new batch of dancers at the time?
No and yes, but because I was one of the originals, they all knew who I was, and they all had respect for all of us back then. And then when I did get in touch, with eventually I got in touch with Michelle. She's one of the girls that danced. As a matter of fact, she was the one that gave the second reunion. I did go to the first one, but they were trying to find me for the second one, and I think I don't know where I was. I was in between Philadelphia and New York at that time, and I really couldn't get there. And they were talking about they wanted to pay me, pay my plane ticket to get there. They just wanted me there. I couldn't do it. But I did get the tape of it, and I did see everybody that was on there to watch. You know, I know how you guys watch the Best of Soul Train, but it's really kind of sour sweet when I watch it, because it reminds me of a lot of my friends that are no longer here, and it reminds me of the good times. You know, I just have a lot of mixed emotions watching it.
Definitely that, because like I said, Soul Train, 3 decades, and it's one of the most influential dance music shows in television history, and first run syndicated show. And Don Cornelius is pretty much a trailblazer, and like I said in the previous conversation we've had, he has influenced me to get into what I'm doing, because I used to watch Soul Train religiously when I was younger.
Well, you know, I appreciate you saying that. I know that the man is a trailblazer. I mean, I don't call too many people this in the world, but I really believe Don Cornelius is a genius. Is a bona fide genius to do what he did, and I don't think that people give him enough credit for what he did. And what he did was he single-handedly saved black music. He elevated it. He's taken it from one form and put it to another. I think the same thing for Don Campbell, the gentleman that created locking. They don't give him enough credit. And if it wasn't for what that man did, you wouldn't have seen Michael Jackson do what he did. You wouldn't have seen the Jackson 5 robot. You wouldn't have seen hip-hop the way it is visually now. You know, that's the way I see it.
Right. So pretty much people just give credit when credit is due.
Well, they need to give Don Cornelius, and they need to give the Soul Train dancers what they brought to the table in terms of black history, or history in general.
Definitely that, because you know, a lot of the dance trends came from the show, because I know people saying, yo, we used to watch the Soul Train line, move the tables and chairs back and imitate the dancers so we can be funky fresh for the dance and all of that stuff. Now, what are you up to these days?